All right, this will be a trade recap for Friday, February 6th, 2026. Another week done. Sticking with one and done, no issues there. First to trigger. Premium was a little expensive still, but not out of the realm of taking it. So pretty straightforward trade. Premium actually, while it was a little elevated, not as bad as yesterday, definitely moved pretty good, especially when we first opened up. So definitely interesting there. Looks like we're getting a bit of a bounce here and retracement back up in the markets right now after the sell-off and test of the 100 simple moving average on the daily for SPY, and then it looks like we're coming up to back test the 100 SMA on Qs. So definitely be something to watch going into next week, but overall feeling pretty good about today and how this week went in terms of trading. Again, had that one kind of anomalous day where the premium was just way too expensive to take that first initial trade, but was still able to execute a smaller trade later, and still everything worked to plan, to strategy. So all good there. But if you want to learn how to do this and you're looking for a good coach that knows what they're talking about and can prove that day in, day out, and has over 10 years of experience doing it, listen to this part and give it a shot. I am a student of this gentleman. This is Pat Mitchell. He is a professional day trader, though he originally was in blue collar work, and he has been in the markets for a little over a decade now. And he has built up a incredible process and knowledge base when it comes to learning how to day trade. He runs a service called Trick Trades. He has also put together inside of Trick Trades a program called SizeUp, and that's what I do. And it is a structured program for learning how to day trade. You start with a small cash account and you basically build that up with your education, experience, and screen time to eventually hit different milestones and become a full-time professional day trader. So if you're interested in something like that, great person, probably one of the highest quality coaches when it comes to day trading out there. If not the highest quality, I don't personally know of any other coaches that I can stand by or say that about. And I've been around a few of them in terms of their services, and nothing even comes close to what Pat offers. So if you're looking for a high quality coach, I cannot recommend him enough. And like I said before, you can find him over at tricktrades.com. He also has a YouTube channel on his own where he posts recaps usually daily. If you want to check that out, you can get a little preview of the kind of information he offers and the quality. And that is just a very, very small amount of the knowledge he possesses. But yeah, definitely check him out. It will be worth your time and effort to go through some of his content and judge for yourself. And with that being said, let's get into the charts. All right, so doing something a little bit different this time. I'm actually gonna come over here and move myself a little off to the side there. All right, so I decided to record the morning session just to kind of see, because it's easier to kind of see it happening and the conditions of the market, where moving averages are. So I'm gonna play it now and kind of just walk through it. But as you can see, we have our daily charts here on the left. We have our intraday charts with 1 minute candles here in the middle, and then I have my order execution right here. And everything's kind of set up and ready to go as we are approaching the market. This started basically recording this one about 2 minutes before the open, so I'll just go ahead and start playing that. Just so you can kind of see. Again, have our levels. You see SPY is up in this channel, but kind of close to this upper level. And remember, these levels are placed pre-market and the night before by Pat as he develops the trade plans for us. And we follow them. I add my risk lines because I like to see them. And yeah, so SPY in this channel, kind of pressing towards the top. So it might be an execution there. So you get orders ready. Then Qs is right on top of this level. So you got to kind of wait to see, what it's going to do. So that's what I'm doing. You see me getting my orders and everything kind of lined up. And that's basically, again, you just kind of watch, wait, and see exactly how this is going to put itself together going into the open, just so you know. Again, do you need to adjust your strikes? Do you need to do anything? But for the most part, try and keep everything kind of simple and straightforward in that regard. And maybe for the future, maybe not. Again, record so much of it. Obviously, I know it's only about 5 minutes long, but it's kind of interesting, the quietness of it when you're just waiting for things to happen. And then I'll constantly be looking, again, verifying everything, getting charts set up, zoomed in or zoomed out, depending on what's going on. All right, here comes the open. So we're watching and waiting. Qs are starting to come down. So it's giving me that space to potentially take that short as Pat planned. So I'm zooming out, kind of thinking, okay, where might be a good place, give it a nice healthy kind of distance away from that level, wait for it to go up, make sure my strike is set, and again, getting ready to see, okay, looks good. So now we just kind of wait to see if it comes back up. And there it is. Ready to enter. Hit it with the buy. And yes, again, we mark it in to these positions because you don't have enough time to do a limit order of any kind. I have time to screw around with it. So then you just kind of wait. And again, like I said, the premium jumped around really, really well. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, when I initially tried to get out of the position, it was double what it actually ended up filling for. And I don't know if that was just half a second too late or whatnot, but yeah. And kind of the interesting part of this is, again, you're basically took that short after it moved below it and then came back up. But the funny thing is, if you didn't pay yourself on that lower test to where you're profitable, again, this is why you pay yourself immediately. And that's something that Pat says, you pay yourself on that first reaction, especially in a small account. That's all you really need to do. If you're trying to build a small account and build consistency, as he says, pay on that first reaction. Because it's one of those things, if you're trying to build that small account, and even though right now I'm only using 1 to 3 contracts, technically I'm allowed to use more, but just for, again, the whole exercise of one and done and really building that consistency. But if you're really starting out, you may not have the size or the account to really where you want to average in. So that one contract, nailing that entry and nailing that exit is super important. And it's one of those things where if you don't do that and it goes against you, it's like, okay, you held on it for it too long and turned that green trade into a red one. And honestly, in the beginning, super guilty of that. And it was a really hard habit to break because, it's that mentality of you keep trying to hit home runs when you're letting a ton of measured incremental wins basically go against you for losses. When if you add up all those incremental wins, if you were consistent and disciplined and took that first reaction, would have nailed it every time and you would really build your account. Because right now it's if you didn't do that, you'd be stopping out. And it's one of those things where that stop out would have probably, again, if you didn't have your stuff under control, the premium's already dumped out over $100 at that point. So you'd already be in the hole $100 off your one singular contract. And then if you tried to throw more size into it to try and correct, it's okay, now you're going to damage the account. So not an intelligent way to do that. So that's the end of that. But I thought that was interesting. But as you can see, it's like that's this area right here. Get zoomed in here a little bit. And it came all the way back up. So again, if you held and hoped, tried to work it a little bit, it's like you didn't get much relief on that. I mean, that's a pretty nasty hole to be in. That's why in the beginning, it's so important to, one, listen to your coach and mentor, especially when they give you the strategy, the plan, and everything, like Pat does. You listen. You don't deviate. You listen, and you follow it kind of robotically. Because again, that's how you end up getting yourself in trouble. You run off and do your own thing. And if you don't do that, well, as you can see, fairly profitable. And then this came all the way back up. Came in here, punched past this level. We ended up rejecting that level, massive wash. So that would have another valid trade, another opportunity. And that's the funny thing about this strategy is like it will give you plenty of opportunities day in, day out, irregardless of the market conditions. And again, on both 2 high-level tickers, 2 level, right to the levels. And again, fairly quick resolution here on this one. Spice Q's came a little bit higher, but still within the risk, or you wouldn't have stopped out. So if you really want to learn how to do this from someone that proves it day in, day out, that they know exactly what they are doing, come over to Trick Trades, sign up for the service, give it a shot for, I would say, at least a month. I mean, just see the quality of information that's given out in the service. And again, it is an education service, not an alert service. Pat knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's talking about. And he proves it, like he said, day in, day out, every single day of the week. So if you're interested, like I said, head over to tricktrades.com, give it a look over, give it a shot. If you want a sampling of kind of that information that's out there, he does have a YouTube channel. He posts recaps almost daily. And yeah, again, this is the tip of the iceberg. And he has over 1,500 videos at this point. So it's one of those things where, yeah, you can very much pick up little pieces here and there, but to get the true education, you need to work with him live on screen share every morning for every market session using the SizeUp program, and that will get you to where you want to be. But yeah, that's all I got. Say have a nice weekend and catch everyone Monday for the next one.